Like, I believe a great coach is going to say, this is what I did. This is how I screwed up. Don't do this. And this is what I learned from it, to just jump over the fence of what happened and go right to what works.
It's a great way to shrink time. Like, you
Mhm.
can sit there and try to master it yourself and make tons of mistakes. And I'm I'm definitely that guy. There's plenty of times where I'm like, I think we can do this. And, it didn't work out like we thought it could work out. But when you have somebody that's actually proven it, that can be alongside of you, whether they're consulting or coaching, because there is a difference. And again, that is just the way to leap ahead
Yeah. Well,
significantly. Hey, Jack Lehr down Lehr's Lehr Podcast. Hey, if this resonates with you, if it helps you, please like, subscribe, and I get to welcome an incredible guest today. I met this young lady almost 2-ish years ago down in Mexico at an event one of our common friends had, and it was just a beautiful time down at Xcaret. So I get to welcome Christie Majors. Welcome, Christie.
hello, everybody. Thanks, Jack.
I mean, Christie is one of the most amazing humans that I've gotten the pleasure to spend time with and hang out with. And my gosh, um, boy, she's just a killer. So thank you, Christie, for being with me.
You are more than welcome. I'm absolutely honored to be here with you.
So a little bit about yourself. Like, where are you from?
I was born and raised in Fresno, California, the heart of agriculture, right in the center of California.
Very nice. And then so you're not just in Fresno right now, you're also in someplace in Utah, right?
In Draper, Utah.
Draper, Utah. Is that
Today,
close to Salt Lake City or?
about 20 minutes south of Salt Lake City, right on the east bench of the mountain. So I get the pummel of snow most winter long.
So it's probably snowing outside right now, right?
Uh, it actually just stopped. So I got about probably 2 or 3 hours before it starts again.
And by the way, we're shooting this in August, so it kind of lots of that or not.
Oh, okay.
Good stuff. So, Christie, you run a real estate team, correct?
Correct. I've got Majors Realty Group in Fresno, California.
Very nice. And you do some other stuff, right?
I do lots of things. I have, let's see, I have a bus transportation company called
Oh my
Red Star Transportation. I run school buses for the private and charter schools in Utah, get
Nice.
the kids to school and do field trips. I have rental property
Yeah.
in Arizona, Utah, and California, and turn those all from Airbnb to long-term rentals because the Airbnb world crashed.
You pivoted
Anyway,
nicely. Great.
yeah. Um, what else? Oh, and I'm a mom of 3 boys and a wife to my rock star husband, who is my lender. And so we got a lot of things going on.
I love it. And if you don't follow Christie on social media, you get to see a lot of the stuff you just talked about. So it's actually pretty cool. So please, friend request, like her, follow her. How do they follow you, Christie?
I think my Instagram is majors.christie,
It's something like that.
something like that. And then Christie Majors on Facebook. I am definitely like on the older school of not techie with that kind of stuff, but I try.
Well, that's okay. So, like, when did you get involved in real estate?
So I was a commercial loan officer for Wells Fargo Bank,
Okay.
and I had a divorce. So I met my current husband, Bobby, during that divorce, and he worked for a title company.
Okay.
And so he said, "Hey, you should sell real estate." And I'm like, "Residential? Like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm a commercial loan officer. I just
Yeah.
do buildings." And so we ended up getting married, and he's like, "You have to. This residential world is awesome." This was, by the way, '08. So
Oh,
the
eight.
word awesome is not, if anyone knows real estate, that's not awesome, is not the right word to describe '08. But I was a buyer's agent. That's how I started, was a buyer's agent for a big team. And I just took calls all day long. I mean, he had 100 listings on REO listings. I probably did 60 deals
Nice.
in my first 8 months. It was insane the amount of foreclosures that were going on in Fresno County,
Yeah.
pretty much everywhere, but in Fresno County. And so then I left the team
Okay.
and I started on my own. I had my own asset managers because I'd worked for Wells Fargo.
Yeah.
So I kept doing short sales and foreclosures. That was a portion of my world. And I, I started. So that's 14 years ago, like
Maybe
ish.
16, maybe 16, something like that.
Shh.
We're not great with that small math. I get it. We like the big numbers.
Add a couple zeros.
So it's interesting. So like a lot of folks during 07, 08, 09, like got out of the industry or just pivoted completely, career changes massive. And just, it was funny because I remember interviewing somebody for listing a property for one of my relatives down in Baltimore, Maryland.
Mhm.
And it was during like 05. And that was, if you had a breath, if you had the ability to breathe, you could get a mortgage or fog a mirror, get a mortgage. And also, if you had a real estate license, you automatically did $6 to $8 million in sales because the
Yeah.
inventory was massive and you can write an offer and get it accepted. It was crazy.
Then it all crashed.
Yeah, all those folks that were just so used to that for that few year period before the Big Short took place, it is actually pretty interesting to see how again how so many people left,
Yeah.
and you found a way to make money during that time. So were you working mostly with investors?
So I had a lot of investors because someone that is a teacher that goes into real estate is a little bit different than having a loan officer. That my center of influence was not my friends. My center of influence was business owners.
Yeah,
Well, what do business owners do? They have cash. What do they want to do? Make passive income. So I had all these REOs to list. I had all these past clients to send and say, hey, do you want to pick up this $100,000 house and rent it out for $2,000 a month?
yeah,
So that's how I did most business. But then I became an investor because I was making the money
yeah.
off these investors. Started a property management company. Like all of a sudden, all this money's coming in, and had to do something with it. And you can't just like sit it in the bank. So that's when I started doing flips
Okay,
and partnering in investors, buy and holds,
yeah.
that kind of thing.
I
But people weren't in the business. They left. And so I was just picking up the low-hanging fruit, and it worked for me.
I love it. So we were just in our team meeting and we're talking about some prices of homes as a real estate investor myself. And I'm thinking like there's these two developments that I was buying from like $30,000 to $60,000 a piece. And now they're all selling, and I owned a ton of them. And now they're all selling at $200,000 to $220,000. And I'm
Mhm.
saying, can I go back and beat the living shit out of dumbass Jack who decided to sell those a few years ago at still really great prices, but just man, hold them.
The rule has always been you don't sell real estate, right? If you're a realtor, you don't sell your stuff. And
Yeah.
what did we do? We sold it.
I know. I'm sitting there going, my basis is 60. I owner financed this multiple times and they defaulted every time. So they like it's just an incredible cash cow. But now it's worth 170. Let's just sell it. And now it's 220. Like a year ish or 2 years later, I'm going, oh my dumb ding
Yeah.
dong.
It
So,
amazes me how smart we are and the coaching we have, and then we make bad decisions.
so like there's those bad decisions, but there's also some good stuff that comes alongside of it. And I think like one of the things that really impressed me about you, Christie, is that you have some coaches in your world
Mhm.
and they've helped you with, wealth building and building your business. Are you able to elaborate on that a little bit?
So I met Brett Tanner, I guess it's been 8 years ago,
Okay.
9 years ago. And there was a little group of 13 of us. The OGs of us just we got up on in the middle of the room and got ripped apart of what we were doing wrong. And 3 months later, we came back and had fixed everything that they told us to fix and got back up on the middle of the stage and did it again. Took down everything we did wrong, fixed it. I gotta say that coaching outside your city is pretty, number one, expensive, but absolutely worth it because the ROI on it is insane. Insane that what you get taught, then you bring it back to, let's say, Fresno, that where I'm at, and I'm doing things that nobody else is doing. And they're going, well, I rather work with Christie because she's got X, Y, and Z things going on. But Tanner Capital, sorry,
Okay. Yeah.
Tanner Capital. So Brett Tanner, great coach. I've also had a couple different times, wealth building coaches that tell you to hoard your cash. And I can't tell you one time when they said hoard your cash, which was now 4 years ago when they said it, that it wasn't exactly what you needed to do. So the part about coaching is you think, well, I already know how to do this. That doesn't make any sense, but you're paying them to fix your problems. And so if you don't do it, there's another bad choice, right? You pay $15,000 a year and then you don't do what they're telling you to do. Doesn't make any sense. So they taught me how to do a showing assistant model.
Okay.
So when I moved to Utah during 2020 on accident, because I didn't want to lose my earnest money when I found out you couldn't Airbnb this thing.
Oh gosh.
I was able to use a showing assistant in Fresno that was getting paid $50 a door. So they were making about $2,500, $3,000 a month just to be the me to open the doors. And then I would write the contract.
Yeah.
So my buyer's agents had all the leads coming in and I needed my COI who really wanted to work with me, still got to see homes and get a deal done. But I wouldn't have come up with that idea by myself. That's all coaching.
So you got that from your coach. It's great to have a wonderful coach. And in this world right now, the coaching companies have popped up out of the woodwork, and there are some incredible coaches, but I got to tell you, there's so many that are really it's just a bunch of bullshit. Like it's all theory, and they had never done it themselves, and it's very difficult. And I'm sure you know many of them, but again, when you get somebody that's kick butt like a Brett Tanner that's able to help you build wealth, prove it to you, and then continue to say, here, do this.
Well, when they do it themselves and they stand up there and say, like, I believe a great coach is going to say, this is what I did. This is how I screwed up. Don't do this. And this is what I learned from it, to just jump over the fence of what happened and go right to what works.
It's a great way to shrink time. Like, you can sit there and try to master it yourself and make tons of mistakes. And I'm definitely that guy. There's plenty of times where I'm like, I think we can do this. And, it didn't work out like we thought it could work out. But when you have somebody that's actually proven it, that can be alongside of you, whether they're consulting or coaching, because there is a difference. And again, that is just the way to leap ahead significantly.
Well, also you need a boots on the ground, right? So when I moved to Utah, I thought I could lead and mentor from Zoom. Boots on the ground. If you don't have a manager running your team, it will fail. It will all those leads will go out the back door. I will say that a million times because it is just not the same going on Zoom, trying to do what we do in real estate.
So no matter how dynamic you are as a human and a great leader of people, if you don't have that manager, and again, we've experienced it multiple times. We've had incredible cheerleaders, but not managers of humans. And that is the key component to building a successful team, certainly in my opinion, based on experience.
Well, not only that, but I was hiring managers that were managers
Yeah.
and not from real estate.
Mm,
At the second I changed that criteria to someone that was in like a realtor that wasn't doing a ton of business
yeah.
and had them come and lead, they were coming from the knowledge. So if it was a quick question about a offer, they knew how to do it, right? I could be on the plane, I could be in another meeting in Utah, but they could get a quick answer. And so as soon as I did someone in real estate, I mean, after I hired somebody in real estate, that was a game changer. So
That's
you have to be quick to, was it slow to hire and quick to fire?
mhm. Yeah. And so it's neat that you've progressed. So you went with the showing assistant model, okay? And that's leveraging someone else to help you grow and still creating an opportunity for them. So you did that, and then what made you decide to go like beyond just yourself and an assistant?
So I was at Keller Williams at the time that this happened, and I had my second child, and I couldn't be everywhere at the same time, right?
Okay.
And so in Keller Williams team model, the first hire is an executive assistant. So you get the bulk of the what you shouldn't be doing, right? Stuff you're not good at off
Yep.
your plate. That gives you your time back.
Yep.
But the next hire is a buyer's agent. And that's because you can't take on all of these clients when, let's just say, my kid had RSV and I had to be home for a week, right? So that second hire was a buyer's agent. From
Mm,
that point on, when you're doing now two agents doing that much business, you're getting more leads and more leads. That's when it's a next buyer's agent, right? When the leads can't be, when they're going out the back door
yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
bleeding, there's your second buyer's agent. But we have to, as team leaders, feed those buyer's agents. We got to feed them leads. So I wouldn't have ever hired more people than what the leads were that were coming in. And I think that's a big problem with a lot of teams. They're like, oh, I need more people. I need more people. But you have to have the leads paid. So now all of a sudden you're spending, let's say, $1,000 in Zillow. Well, you get two more agents, you need two and three,
Yeah.
right? Or
Yeah.
realtor.com or
Yep.
city, whatever you're paying for. And so I was trying to slowly get people on the team instead of spending so much money and then you're running in the red.
Yeah. Yeah. So like did you grow a pretty massive team? Like where are you at right now?
Mm.
Wh-
So I have always been between like 4 and 8 at any given time.
Okay.
And that is because after 2020 really did a number on all of us. But what happened is that people got second jobs.
Mm,
So they're still in real estate. So that makes them a part-time realtor,
yeah.
right? And so having 8 agents and then 6 of them are part-time,
Mm,
it becomes more money for the showing assistant, I'll tell you that, because now those part-time agents need to use the showing assistant because they're sitting at work.
yeah.
So really what I ended up doing was teaching the agents at that time to use a showing assistant. So when they really bounced off my team and went on their own, they use showing assistants now.
Okay. Yeah.
I think of that as a win because I saw them grow, right? I saw them learn a new thing and flourish with it. But then my team numbers went down because they left the team. Proud of them. Like
Yeah.
one of my rock stars got absolutely recruited by one of the builders, came into my team and took my girl, paying her $120,000 a year to go sit in new home builds.
Mm,
And my girl's like, Christy, I make the same with you, but I work basically 24/7. And
yeah.
I'm all, well, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Go take it. So I've really just stayed in that, I call that the messy middle, because there's not enough to be profitable, or there's too many that you really need a manager, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And if you can get over the 10, the 15, you have a full-time manager, and then you're also profitable.
You definitely have the ability to get there with that for sure.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said about the SEAL teams. There's something to be said about like, let's just go get a lot of agents. Um, so you've built this, and so now are you practicing strictly in Fresno, or are you doing anything in Utah?
So when I moved here 3 years ago, I got my license in Utah,
Okay.
but I don't have a team here. I do have a showing assistant here, but um, I still have the team in Fresno,
Okay.
and everyone's working. Thank goodness, no, it's not too slow because we are very buyer heavy. So I
Okay.
know a lot of teams are listing heavy. We are like 80%, 85% buyer only.
Wow.
And everyone thinks I'm crazy, but where does the commission compression come from? The listing side. The first thing that's going to be compressed is going to be that listing side. And so, not that that's the reason I stayed with buyers, but I've just done buyers for so long
Yeah.
that the listings come from the buyers, right? They say 60-70% of all buyers have something to sell. So
Yeah.
I'm getting the listings anyways, but more the buyers. So when I go after leads, I'm going after buyer leads, and I just stay in that kind of world,
Okay.
and it works very well when you have the training and everyone's going after the same thing. Like all the team members on my team are going after buyers.
It's proof that there's way more than one way to do it successfully.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And here's the thing, it comes down to leadership too, because there's people that have your model, they have my model and other models out there that are whether it's a race to the bottom and giving away everything and not understanding their value. And you were talking about commission compression. We're very fortunate that we dealt with buyer agency 9-10 years ago. So it's a part of like, here's what it looks like to work with our team. It's a full service team, and it's it's at the full 3% plus and plus a transaction fee. And that's what it looks like to successfully work with our team. Because when you have 40% fallout of contracts across this great nation of ours, because we have so few well-trained, licensed, and I use the word sales professionals super lightly because most of them, oh, I watch Selling Sunset and I like HGTV and I love houses. Hey, you know what? There's a human component to this. Let's understand that we're truly, if you want to really dominate, we're sales professionals.
Well, this isn't a widget. A house isn't a widget to sell.
Yeah.
You're selling a dream. You're selling somebody's family, right? Their family dream, their family desires. And if you don't have that service background in sales, because there's a widget background of sales and there's a service
Yeah.
background in sales, you end up smelling like commission, right? And smelling, they can smell you a mile away if
Commission
you're
breath
going
is
after that
disgusting.
commission.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
I am friends with more than half of my clients. They invite me to birthday parties and housewarming parties and anniversary parties, and I'm invited everywhere. I do events, and I bring Santa to take pictures and the bunny rabbit to take pictures in a park. I do events, and they're consistently coming to those because I'm friends with them. I've seen their kids. I've got pictures of their kids from being born. Um, I've even got one coming to Utah that their kid's now in college, going to college here. And I'm
Nice.
like, wait a second, I remember when he was born. Um, it's very fun that now I'm getting invited to these things because I've that person the belly to belly
Yeah.
um is just changed the direction of my entire business career because it's not been transactional one time.
And I love it how you've built the income to invest and build wealth. And like you were at KW, you made a switch not that long ago. I don't know exactly when, but tell us a little bit about your story about that.
Oh gosh. I can say that I have been at 7 brokerages in the 16 years, 15, 16 years.
Okay.
That's not a good thing, but I'll tell you financially for me, I have always gone to increase the money in my pocket. So, going from like a 50-50 split, then I went to an 80-20 split. The next one was a 90-10 split. The next one was a 95-5 split. Then I got to KW as a $25,000 cap.
Yep.
Because the 19 plus the 6 franchise fee, 25 cap. Then I went to EXP, and that was a $16,000 cap.
Yep.
And then I came to Real, and it's a $12,000 cap. So I've been to all these brokerages, but every time I increased my resume, money in my pocket, the people I got to change, the people I hung out with, like who you hang out with, you start to become like. So my friends that I've played with have gotten better. Money's gotten better.
Yeah.
Business has gotten better. And I'm always just trying to step it up. So I have been with Real Brokerage for 3 years. And so it's been 6 years since I left KW.
Nice.
And
So
I had great things. I mean, I have nothing bad to say about any of the brokerages I've been at. I learned everything that I am today from all of those brokers. I just happen to now have enough knowledge, not all of it, but enough knowledge to be having a coach, this back knowledge, and now be it Real, and now take it to the network of now helping everybody around me with items like how to start a showing assistant model, how to be in another state and still do business.
Yeah.
How to turn an Airbnb into long-term rental. Like all of these things, taxes, how to run the Augusta rule through your tax return. I mean, there's just so many things I can teach now that I can go give back to everybody that's helped me get here.
And I mean, there's so much that you've learned, and I think that you're aware of, like, using life insurance cash value as an opportunity to just heavily put money away and then
I
borrow
just
from
did that.
you become your own bank.
Well, I just did that because I was in the middle of a flip when I went to go buy the bus company, and I had a deadline to close the deal. Well, my life insurance policy had 300 and something thousand dollars of cash value.
Yeah.
So they gave me a 250 line of credit. I closed the deal.
Nice.
I didn't have any of the late fees, not closing the deal on time. I was my own bank. And by the way, it's sitting at 2.5%. So all I had to do was wait for the flip to close and pay that back off. So I didn't have to do an SBA loan. I didn't have to go into any financials with another lender. I didn't have to do anything. And on the day that happened, I just pulled it off my life insurance policy.
And the beautiful part is, for a large majority of what we're talking about, is that money continues to grow even when you borrow from it. That's what a lot of people don't even understand. So whether it's index universal life or whole life policies that have a maximum cash value, like there's just so many different things that you can do just by learning and being around the right people. Again, like, Spring talks about proximity is power, and it really is.
Yep. That's actually a KW motto.
But I heard it from Spring, so I wasn't in the KW world. I always remember her saying it. I'm like, my goodness, I love that. So,
well, the thing is that took, if I needed it at this moment, and this is the first time I've heard I needed it, it would have taken me 30 days to get that line of credit in place.
yeah.
We talked about cash value, a line of credit against the cash value 7 years ago with Brett Tanner. And so 7 years ago, I got it. And every time I make a payment on my 10-year life insurance policy, 10-year pay, my cash value goes up. So my line of credit goes up. So I don't have to ask for an increase. It's just going up and up every time I make a payment, and the cash value is going up. So if I didn't have that long ago, I wouldn't have been able to get this company.
I love it. It's like you did some stuff that you were guided to do from somebody that you trust, and like that person has proven like the massive value. So he's worth way more than the
Oh,
number you talked on an annual basis for sure.
15,000 a year. I'm probably making
Yeah.
60, 70 off of him a year. Off the thing, it's not off of him. I shouldn't have said that.
Right.
Off what he has told me to do.
Yeah. So
And there's
this is,
things like, if you got him on this podcast, he'd say, she wasn't listening to me.
it could be $1 million a year. She kind of listened a little bit, but you know, that's what Christie does. She kind of listens sometimes.
Yeah, Brett actually told me, he's like, you can't move to Utah. You don't have any friends or family. And you got 3 boys. What are you doing? It's an emotional move. I'm like, have you seen Utah? Have you seen how beautiful it is?
I love it. So
Yeah,
like,
I'm a girl. I can make emotional decisions.
yes. So Christy, you've been fortunate enough to like attract folks into Real and build some revenue share and accumulate stocks. Like that's another wealth building opportunity, or like a little bit about that.
So yeah, so Spring and I were down in Cabo on a vacation, and she had a meeting with Tamir. She gets off the phone, she's like, "Hey, Christy, I was at EXP at the time."
Yeah.
And she's like, "You want to go to Real?" I'm all, "Sure, I'm in." Like, she tells the story. It was like literally 1 second. She asked me a question. I said, "Sure, I'm in." And I moved when we got back from Cabo, and um, that was 3 years ago. And I took it over to Fresno, got all my friends over there at Real.
Yeah.
In fact, we just had Sharon, our president, come and do a buyer mastery event.
Nice.
We had 130 agents show up, getting the nuggets from just a man I totally adore and look up to. He is so smart. The other thing is that he shares everything.
Yeah.
So the basis of Real that really changed my life is the collaboration. Like, I don't think, Jack, you and I would have ever met if I would have stayed anywhere else, like, or even been on this podcast.
Right.
Collaboration is such at a high level that I find something out about this. You know, I have this life insurance policy against my cash. I'm sorry, line of credit against my life insurance policy. And I have told every single person at Real that I've met, "Hey, do you have your life insurance policy yet? Do you have your life insurance?" I mean, this is one thing I say to everybody.
Yeah.
It's collaboration. So it gets me to give more because people are giving to me,
Yeah.
right? This is like a whole give, give, give brokerage. I have never seen anything like this in my world. I am utterly blessed to be in this company.
That's great
Watch
that
the
you
stock grow. What were we at? 3? What are we at? $3 or something?
in that ballpark. Yeah.
Stocks. Let's look it up.
Oh my gosh.
2.9 today.
Oh my.
And
Yeah.
when I came in, it was a penny stock. So like we weren't even on NASDAQ yet.
Right.
So then now we've got 15,000, over 15,000 agents, and I came in at 1,200.
Yeah.
So I'm just watching the people around me just grow, not only in business, but grow personally. We're sharing stories. We've got our good friend Heather got sick. Everyone's sending well wishes and videos to make her feel better.
Yeah.
Like, who does that? We do that.
There seems to be a true care and love, and I think it starts at the top. And again, I make this the Lehr Podcast super brand agnostic, but we're at the same brokerage. And like Tamir Polig and the way the love that guy shines on others, and like Tamir and I've spent plenty of time with each other, and he spent time with you, and you just feel like you're the only person in the room, and you feel like there's true care and love coming from that amazing human, and he'll make anybody feel like you guys are incredible friends. Yeah.
Not only that, but the whole motto of no agent left behind,
Yeah.
that came from the top. And that came from the very beginning of knowing that people are kind of siloed in real estate, right? You're a realtor, you're all by yourself, you go to work, you go home, you go to work, you go home. And that's not a great way to live. Like, you need more camaraderie around you. You need people that you could just call and not have to go reinvent the wheel. If I had to do a podcast, guess who I'm calling? I'm calling Jack, right? I don't need to reinvent the wheel. Um, if I wanted, to start charging transaction fees, I go call 10 of my friends that are doing transaction fees on top of the
Yeah.
commissions.
Yeah.
Um, and you guys would all help me figure out how to do it, right? Um, I'm I just think that the amount of attention to detail and the tech world that I am in right now has really changed that I have everything on my phone.
Yeah.
I don't have to go to a website to see my transactions. I don't have to go to my website to see um, the commission that's coming in. I don't have to I don't have to do anything in my whole entire real estate world on a computer because I'm at Real. Because everything is on my app.
It is. It's unbelievably powerful. And like a lot of times, you know, we've come from different brokerages and even our own privately held. And, sometimes that technology is not there. Like you can do everything within that app. So we're very, very fortunate. And then we also see the advancement of it. But um, enough about Real Broker. Let's get back to
Sorry, I get off my little box. I
no,
just
listen, it's great to be excited about it, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It's what it is that if if you've been in business as long as we have and you're not giving to people your nuggets, like what are you doing? Like I am here. You guys could call me anytime and ask me anything. And if I don't have the answer, I'll tell you who does.
You know, it's really cool, Christy. I don't care what brokerage you're at. We do this for all these, and I get lots
Mhm.
of people reach out to us in the Zillow world and the you know what world, like just doesn't matter outside of real estate. And they're like, "Hey, I saw you talked about this. Can you help me out with that?" And like, just like we're both heavy givers, and we get rewarded massively just by giving and helping others. But you also got to realize when you give, yes, you're rewarded massively, but you can give all this free information and so few people will actually take you up on it or actually do it. Like
Yes,
I can give you a path to 10 deals in the first 2 months in your world, and I can give you a path to 75 transactions a year. Like we have that on our team, and most won't do it. It's super like it's simple shit, right?
it is. But I think what happens is that they listen to either a podcast or a coach. They hear 10 things that they want to do.
Yeah.
Gotta do one at a time. Gary Keller was great at that. The one thing, right? The If you get a nugget, let's just say out of this podcast, right? To get a life insurance policy and put a line of credit against that. Write that down. And then if you don't have a life insurance agent that you know who to call, right? DM us. I'll give you mine.
Yep.
Um,
We know who they are, and you have
we
a
know who
great
they are,
one.
right?
Yes.
But what I mean about the one thing is get that done, get that application for the life insurance policy started, get that in your budget, get this done so that in 3 years and 4 years, that line of credit is good enough for you to use. Even if it's only $30,000 line of credit, I use that. I pulled that off just to do a flip, just did the rehab with the line of credit,
Right.
right? Instead of using my cash. So that's just one thing to start. Take a second thing you want to learn about showing assistance. Well, get your life insurance policy stuff done first. Then your second nugget, okay, learn about the showing assistance. There's a new app called Showami. Have you heard about that?
We use it. Yep.
Okay. I think it's like $35 a month. I guess it would be per city. I haven't used it yet, but I
Yeah.
want to do it.
Yeah.
Um, but there's things about a showing assistant that you can start asking about. And then once you have that dialed in, now go for the third nugget. And
Yeah.
I think that's what happens with everybody. You just want to do all the shiny things, but you don't stop to say, well, the Keller Rose is a 1, 3, and 5. This is the one thing. This is 3 things that it's going to take to get that one thing done. And let's break down those 3 things into the 5 things it's going to take to get done. And I use that format thank you, Keller Williams. Like I use that format on every single business I have.
It is a great way to break down a business to get to your goal. I love it.
Mhm.
Um, so Christie, like outside of real estate, you and I have had some great times hanging out.
Yes, we
Um,
have.
Most recently, we had Sarah and your wonderful friend. What's her
Carol.
name? Oh my gosh! And we hung out at the Top Gun bar in San
Oh,
Diego. That was a good time.
oh, that was a highlight of my life. Actually, our picture is the highlight of my life.
I think Shane has to post that picture of our Top Gun,
Yeah.
right?
Wait, does he have it?
He's gonna get it because Sarah's
Oh
gonna send it to
gosh.
him. Oh my!
No, that was so much fun being at that bar, the nostalgic
It was
feeling
it
and the
was cool.
stories.
Oh my gosh! And then the bartender explaining the stories and like, yeah,
You know, he was BSing us a little bit.
I think a little bit. That helps you get a tip, right?
Yes, and we did tip well. We've had a lot of fun, Jack. Mexico, San Diego.
Yeah.
We're going to Vegas,
We're going to be in Vegas later this year. We were in San Antonio together, I
San
believe.
Antonio.
Yeah. We get to hang out with Christie, and Christie is the life of the party. So I'm grateful that, my goodness, I get to be in your world. Thank you.
Oh, well, I'm having so much fun with you and Sarah. I'll go anywhere in this world with you.
Oh my gosh.
We work hard, we party hard here.
I can't hang anywhere near you. That's for sure. Um, Anything else we want to share with those out there?
No, but I'm here to help anybody that needs it. I've done the hard knocks to get here, and literally DM me, find me,
Yeah.
get to Jack through to me. Um, I would love to help you set up to the ease of your team with the showing assistants and life insurance and the Augusta rule and anything with taxes. That's about my background's more math, taxes,
Yeah.
how
And
to
I love that you're so
get
willing to
around.
help. And again, if you're considering real, reach out to Christie. She's just an incredible. She pours out heavily to those that are in her world. We're all here to support. And again, it's not about that. It's about just helping. So it doesn't matter what brokerage you're at. Please reach
Mm.
out to Christie, myself. I'm grateful that I get to be in Christie's world. And thank you so much for joining me on the Lehr today. Make your day great.